If you are in a developing economy where you have a controller of the market, then prices tend not to go lower and customers do not have very good experiences.
As Americans, we can be a little America-centric. We forget about different political systems, different terms for presidents, for prime ministers, to governments where they don't have democracy. Are there differences when it comes to balancing short and long-term goals? Do you see differences between how that's approached in a developing market?
It comes right to the point about the short term and the long term. If you have companies in developing economies, many of the companies are privately held, or even if they're public, they're family owned and they have a family majority business. And that changes the whole spectrum of incentives and the way they look at short term and long term, because they don't have a market to respond to. They respond to their shareholders, which is the family. So that changes a lot in the way a company behaves. And also, if they are not working in a competitive environment, they're probably looking more into short-term gains rather than a long-term view where you have to respond to the market, where you have to respond to shareholders, where you have other checks and balances in the firms. And here, if you're a family-owned business in a sector where there is not that much competition, then you will have different incentives and different views of what the company is looking for in terms of their short-term and long-term view.
How do you think about the differences then when it comes to public versus private sector? One of the things we see in countries around the world, which seems to be happening more in the US, is extreme changes in point of view of the government. The policies of one administration are not necessarily carried through. They may be completely reversed or something totally different. So when it comes to public and private sector concerns, how do you think about that?
The terms are much more dramatic. Particularly in Mexico, we have a 6-year presidential term, and they don't have any re-election. It's a problem because when you're looking just for a 6-year term, you have no view on a long term. Basically, your view is on a 6-year term. And since you have no re-election, then it's even more problematic because you do not respond to the public in a long-term view. You basically are maximizing your 6-year term. And that, I think, makes incentives much more difficult than if you were looking to maximize the economy and to maximize the welfare of a country in a longer period.